Sorry. Toastmasters. We recorded. Can I don't record this meeting, my dears? Whoever is meeting, whoever is recording, can we don't record? This is due to the confidentiality of our staff. Thank you. As I was mentioning, welcome to our first Yishun Health Campus Toastmaster Club online meeting. Woo! Just give me. Just give me. So sorry about that. That's my mom. So today we have 4 wonderful speakers and 4 lovely evaluators. But sadly for today, we will be doing. Thank you very much for not sharing the screen. Thank you. Can we change that instead? Right. Thank you, Jenny. So without further ado, as I was mentioning, this is our first chapter meeting, and we will not be doing any table topics or impromptu today. We will be only doing speeches and evaluation. However, for the evaluation, we will be only doing 2 evaluations. We will not be doing, we will be doing 3 silent evaluation. Reason why is because we are trying to cut short the timing due to tomorrow. Some of us are actually working. One of it is me. So our staff and our members are trying to say, please try to shorten the meeting. So I'm trying to shorten the meeting for them. Okay. Without further ado, let's do a quick icebreaker. Let me go from my right side, which is Ma'am Hanifa. Ma'am Hanifa, you want to tell us? I can't hear you, ma'am. Wait, let me unmute you. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm from
name,
Yes, I'm from Singapore. Raised here, and I started Toastmasters from the Mandarin Toastmasters Club, so Chinese Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next, can I have Ma'am Angela up? Ma'am Angela, you there?
Yes, I just unmuted. Hello, I've just unmuted. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Do you want to your other device to just echoing?
Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Yes, that's because my mobile phone was turned on. I'm still getting an echo. I'm sitting on it, but all right. My name is Angela Lansbury. I'm president of Bradle Heights Advance, and I'm also a member of the Singapore Online. Delighted to be here.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Next, can we have the next person who will be Wei Ping? Sorry, ma'am. Wait, I will unmute you. Unmute. Oh.
Hello, my name is Wai Peng from Ipoh, one of the town from Malaysia. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Next up will be our brother Panos.
Hello, Brother Hakim and everyone, fellow Toastmasters and friends. My name is Panos and I'm a member of the Singapore Online English Toastmasters Club. And I can tell you what a wonderful opportunity this is for me tonight to be doing what I love, Toastmasters, with even more Toastmasters friends from Asia. So I'm very happy to be here with you tonight. Looking forward to the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Oops. Next up will be Nantini. Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Hi, I'm Nantini, and I'm also part of Kutik Hospital, and so the Toastmasters Club there. I'm a nurse working in the operating theatre. Yeah.
Yeah. For those who doesn't know her, she was actually from SIT also, Toastmaster Club from there. Then she joined us. Thank you. Yeah. Next up will be our brother, Tony. Tell us who you are, brother.
Hi everybody, I'm Tony from Yishun Health Toastmasters Club. I'm still working now, actually, taking a sneak off to to come for this online thing. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Tony. You see how dedicated we are. Next up, Ma'am Margesh.
Hello. Hi, Magesh here. So I'm also from Toastmaster Kutepwat. Happy to meet all of you here. So it's a good experience. We meet people from outside of Kutepwat.
All right. That's good. Okay. Last but not least will be our brother KK, correct?
Hi everyone, my name is KK. I'm from Malaysia, Sedang Mandarin Toastmaster Club. This is my first time to join English Club and online also. Nice to meet you all.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Okay. Next up, Jenny, are you joining us? Do you want me to unmute you and you tell us who you are? It's okay. I think she's having her dinner. Willie is actually having a lecture, he told me. So he will just also listen in to us. Akim will be joining us later for one of the speeches for Ma'am Hanifa itself. All right. Next, for today we have, as I mentioned, we got 4 speeches for today. And most of them are very, very good. Actually, excellent lah. Okay. Without further ado, let's jump into the first speech, prepared speech itself. As you can see in the agenda, it will be Ma'am Margesh who will be doing her level 1 project 2. Time limit will be 5 to 7. Okay. Wait, did I get a timer? Wait, I have the timer, right? Just give me a minute. Where's the timer? Did I bring back? Okay, never mind. Okay. So the timing will be 5 to 7 minutes. The agenda, Angela, is inside the group chat. Yeah, the agenda is in the group chat. So the the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. So for the 5 minutes, I will just show 5 for 5 minutes. Then yellow will be 6. Okay, yellow will be 6 minutes. I will show up 6 minutes. Then 7 minutes, I will show up 7. Then for 7 minutes 30 seconds, I will just press the hand raise button. The hand raise button will be, I will just make a noise. Ah! Sorry, I forget to bring back my device. Okay, so without further ado, let me call upon our evaluator for Ma'am Margesh, who will be doing silent evaluation. For those who do not know, will be our brother Tony, team collaboration for level 5, Tony Yang. Bro, you want to tell us what is the objective? Wait, just let me unmute you. You want to tell us the objective?
I don't have
Huh?
I don't have the project checklist with me there.
Oh, okay. You have the project checklist, ah?
Yep.
Okay. Can. No worries, bro. Can. Okay. So never mind, it's okay. So Ma'am Margesh. So without further ado, let me call upon our Toastmaster Margeshwari up on stage or on screen.
On screen.
On screen with her speech title name.
Okay. It's about retirement. Okay. So if you want to know what the topic is about, it's about retirement. So I start off. So
Okay.
as I had my introduction earlier on, I'm Magesh working in Kutepwat. So this is my second speech on level 1 project 2. So what I want to talk today is about retirement in general and how prepared we are when we retire. You know, honestly, up to till now, I've thought about everything in work life. I'm in the workforce for the last 22 years. So I have thought about colleagues, bosses, pay rise, promotion, whatever not, right? But the one thing that I really never actually thought about is retirement. So it probably because I had a very good career journey. You know, I didn't have much problem. Things was going on smoothly. So the thought of retirement never occurred to me. When did it occur? One day, me and my husband going on weekend breakfast. So your teh panas, roti bakar is on this one. And my husband asked me this question. So when do you think so that you want to stop work? You know, I mean, you know, you want to retire. Then it struck me that, you know, I'm always readily available with answer for him. And suddenly I didn't know how to answer this question. I didn't have a template answer when I want to retire. So that set me really thinking, when do I really want to retire? And how prepared I am to retire, and whether I can afford to retire in Singapore. All right. So for our friends today who join us in from overseas, the essential part, it's a good topic because the essential part of Singapore retirement is our CPF, Central Provident Fund. So those Singaporeans, we know that we have this stash up money that we contribute, things like that. So I found out that as I did my research, at 55, I'm able to withdraw my CPF. This is a golden nest, at 55. I'm sure we have a considerable amount of money in our CPF. So does that mean that at 55, I can retire? So that I can actually use what I withdraw from CPF to support my needs. But then I found out it's not that really very simple. You see, what happens is, if you're a Singaporean and you've been working for the last 20 years, assuming there's money accumulated in your CPF account, assuming that you have a decent saving, all of us fail to understand that when we stop working, what happens is this accumulated money actually decreases. Our savings decrease. What happens is a portion of our CPF is used to pay our housing loan. And if we don't have incoming cash and you're having outgoing cash because you're servicing your housing loan, that means your CPF is every day when you stop working, it decreases, right? So if I take out that money at 55, then how am I going to serve my housing loan? I'm stuck, right? Because I need to have that money. Yeah, I need to have that money in, so I can't touch it. I mean, no matter whatever it is, right? You can't actually really fully withdraw to support your needs when you stop working. So, so if the plan I have now at 55, I want to retire, then I'm banking on my CPF. Now I can't use. So what can I use? So I say, okay, then I think I will use my savings, whatever I saved up to 55. But we fail to realize that at that point of time, you need to service other things in your life, your insurance, your utility bill, your phone bill, your medication, things like that. So you need that money to service this. So what money do you have to retire at 55? Right? It's not so simple. So I realized that now the scary question is, how are we going to retire at 55 when financially we are not ready yet to retire at 55? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but most of Singaporeans' dream is at 55, you want to shake leg, you don't want to do anything, you see. So how are you going to do that? So what I did was, after my husband asked this question, I went into searching for an answer. I called up people, I went into talking to people in the financial firm, talking to insurance agents and things like that. Then I realized that we do have a retirement plan that we don't actually look at it when we are younger. We only look at our retirement plan when we are about to retire. So I actually engaged a financial advisor and I told her, look, this is my plan. I want to retire at the age of 60 or 50, 55. What do I need to do to retire at the age of 55? So what she did was she actually gathered information about my own financial activities. What do I have? What do I lack? And things like that. So she came up with this plan, an overview, where my cash comes in, where my cash goes out, things like that, you see. So now I can clearly see how much I'm going to have after I pay off my housing loan at the age of 55, when I pay off my housing loan, and for the next 20 years, assuming I am still going to pay off, how much money I can actually take out from my CPF. With all the money that I actually pays off my insurance bills and things like that, how much money do I have for myself? So cutting the long story short, right, what I'm trying to say is we, as a person who are working, we don't actually give time to think about what is our retirement plan until we hit the retirement plan. What we should do is we should actually plan it way much earlier when you go into the workforce, or at least halfway through your workforce. You need to plan this so that you can comfortably retire without feeling that I don't have the money to retire, because at the end of the day, money is important for you to retire. So I think that's the message that I want to bring across. Thank you so much for listening to this. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause for Ma'am Wagesh, who is talking with experience with regards to her experience on settling for retirement. Wow. Actually, to be honest, ma'am, I agree with you. I agree with you totally. Because recently, I just actually followed my dad with due to his CPF account, because he's gonna be 55. Then he was like counting how much money I will get. Like, okay, that relax, because he's planning to go Hajj, hopefully. Yeah, and I understand that with this CPF, we are able to actually pay for our housing in Singapore. Yeah, for those who doesn't know about the CPF, a bit short of introduction with CPF is actually from our salary, the government will take 20% of our salary and put it in CPF so that it helps us in terms of healthcare and also the housing. Yeah, for those who doesn't know. All right. So let us move on now to the next speaker. But without further ado, let me. Oh, so sorry. Our second speaker is still on the way home, so we're gonna skip her first. We'll be straight going to our third speaker instead. And the third speaker, the evaluator, is actually changed to our brother Panos. Reason because our sister have a comeback still on the way home. So Panos will be her evaluator. Without further ado, Panos, can you tell us about the objective of the speech?
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. I have the pleasure of evaluating Nathani's speech, which will be from level 3 of a pathway IP. Help me out. IP is
Innovative planning.
Innovative planning. Planning. Yeah, thank you. So it will be from level 3 innovative planning, a project called Focus on the Positive. Nathani's speech purpose will focus on practicing being aware of her thoughts and feelings, as well as the impact of her response on others. And she will be sharing her experience completing the Focus on the Positive project. So looking forward to your speech, Nathani. Back to you.
And the time limit will be the same, 5 to 7 minutes. Without further ado, let me call upon Nandini, Innovative Planning Level 2, up on the screen with a speech title.
Can you hear me first?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, your speech title, my dear.
Okay, hold on. Okay, my speech title is actually, how do I see the good in all of this? Yeah. Okay. How do I see good in all of this? Okay, so let me begin by saying that, when we are young, we always have this dream of like how we want to go to a certain place or like maybe a certain country. And for me, when I was very young, like since the age of like 5, I had a dream. And that dream was to go on a holiday to US. Okay? So, and in US, was this particular place. And as a child, where do you think would have gone or would have wanted to go to? If you are thinking Disneyland, and you are right. Okay, so I wanted to go to Disneyland Orlando, and in 2016, I was given the opportunity by my school to go to UPenn, which is University of Pennsylvania, to actually do 1 semester there for nursing. So I was there for internship and also attended classes in the university at that time. So during this time, I was like, okay, this is the opportunity, and like I can actually do what I want to do, and that's to actually go and see Disneyland somehow. So ironically, I'm going to tell you about how my trip there was the total opposite of what I thought it was. And yeah, so basically the flight there was like 23 hours. So after flying for 23 hours, all I wanted was to have access to internet. And being Singaporean, I'm kind of ashamed of it. So when I actually was out of the plane, the first thing I looked out for was actually for a seller who actually sold SIM card. And when I was at the airport, there was this particular seller, and his name was Leon. He was actually extremely helpful and very friendly. That I don't know, I don't know why at that time I didn't even like think about, you know, there's something fishy about him. But I went on to actually, you know, engage in a conversation, and he went all the way out to actually help me and my friends get our phones working, get the SIM cards in. And little did I know that this Leon guy was going to be the cause of a major disappointment during my trip there. So with our phone settled, and after calling home that we have safely landed and all, we actually took a cab to the place that we had actually intended to stay. And we met this tall African American guy who owned a typical American taxi. He offered to take us to our accommodation, which was at Baltimore Avenue. So for $30, this is for 4 people. So we were like, okay, that's not too bad. Okay, so then we took the ride. The ride was a smooth one, but when we got off, we knew that we were supposed to tip this guy because we knew that there was a culture of tipping. But little do we know that we will be ripped off, in the sense that when we got off, he was telling us that, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys came from overseas and you are here to also make money, and I'm sure you'll help me out. And at the point of time, we were the only ones in the whole area, so we were kind of like scared. And this was our first interaction with someone in US. So at that point of time, we were like, what are we going to do? So we just gave this guy a huge tip, which was 50 USD. That's more than what the actual ride was, which was 30. So we actually paid 80 USD. And that ride was only like 10 minutes from the airport. So now when I think about it, I'm just like, wow. Okay. So now that we have gotten that out of the way, so we settled down in our accommodation. And then during the first 2 days of our stay, everything went perfectly well. We were all happy. We had, you know, internet connection, we could call people, everything was fine. But after 2 days, something fishy happened. That was the start. Okay, so what happened was suddenly our mobile phone stopped working. We had no internet access, and this was when I realized that our phones and our access to internet were actually giving us a sense of security in like foreign land, because now there was nothing, there was no information, there was nobody that could help us. So we were trying to figure out what to do, and we couldn't move around because we needed GPS as well, and this was very hard for us. But at that point of time, the only thing that we could do was to actually go down to that particular mobile store with that carrier to actually get this thing sorted. But when we went there, the mobile carrier, I'm not going to name the mobile carrier, okay, so they actually told us that we have been scammed and we are buying SIM cards that only this particular guy can operate. So he probably sold that to us and then like gave us like you know, discounts and stuff like that. Which was what he said, and now we can't use it anymore. So unless we go and find this guy, but apparently this guy is not there anymore. So that was like inclusive of all four of us, 500 USD down the drain. So to think of that as my first purchase in US, I'm quite unhappy about it even till now, but oh well, things happen. So so now back to the part where I was planning for my Disneyland trip. Okay, so we were all very excited, even with all this happening. You know, we were planning for our trip when we were in Pennsylvania, and we were planning for this trip during our term break over there. But guess what? We actually got a call from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so we were all like, you know, linked up so to know if there's any like possible harm. They will actually inform us. So Ministry of Foreign Affairs Singapore actually told us that we got an email saying that Hurricane Irma was actually approaching and it was heading towards Orlando. So at that point in time, we were like, wow, okay, out of all days and all weeks, this is the time when it needs to come. So due to this, all the theme parks were going to be closed. So there was no point even going there. So I was very devastated. And I was the oldest among the group, so I couldn't show my form of like unhappiness. So like I was telling my friends, you know, like, hey, you know, it's okay, we were going to try to find something else to do. So we took up an impromptu trip to Canada to see Niagara Falls. I think in my eyes it was the best view of Mother Nature, and I'm really happy that that happened instead of going to Disneyland, because I'm pretty sure there'll be more opportunities in the near future after coronavirus, that is. So if there's something that I've learned from my trip to the States, is expect the unexpected. And when traveling, yes, they say when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But remember, even when you plan, expect to fail. So honestly, after this trip, I think I plucked up the courage to travel more, and ever since then, I've managed to travel independently. And the lessons I've learned, I think I've brought it forward positively and try to, you know, make sure that things go smoothly and like don't look at it negatively. So I hope I did justice to my topic today. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Nandini, for the wonderful speech on her trip to USA. Okay, I didn't know US also have that kind of scam, but interestingly and thankfully, it happened to me when I was going to KL. So luckily that my dad actually saw there was something very fishy when actually we were told that it's very cheap, only 18 ringgit. Like, you sure? So we end up didn't bought it. We just go out of the airport and buy it somewhere else. Okay, thank you very much, Nandini. Next up, let me call. It will be the next evaluator will be Nandini itself, but it will be the same project, same level. And let me call upon our next speaker, Mr. Tony Yang, Toastmaster Tony Yang, Team Collaboration Level 5. Tony, your speech title?
My speech title is Time and Money.
Okay, the floor is yours, bro.
Oh, okay, so fast.
Yeah.
Okay, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. My topic today is quite interesting. Stay tuned for it. Okay, so first, talking about time. Okay, talking about time. From the olden days, when we do not have watches, the time is actually projected using a stick across the time of the day. And slowly, we invented the watch to tell us the time there and then. But why time is always tied with money? As my previous colleagues have spoken, it's always tied to retirement, which is also money, which is also tied to a trip to US, which is also about money, being cheated. Yes, so all these are on time is also tied with money, because there are a lot of things that time can buy and there are a lot of things that time cannot buy. But I will touch on time first. How do we measure time and how do we keep in touch with the time that we allocate to our oneself when we do stuff? Prematurely in the history, we always use books, diaries, so we can record down whatever And then we can remind ourselves that, hey, the time is about up. We need to do certain things that we need to do. Slowly as time evolves, nowadays we are more reliant on handphones, mobile phones, I'll say. And mobile phones nowadays have replaced all the hard copy diaries or calendars, right? So how does this affect us? Let's see the world itself. Why time has been so important and is always tied to money is because we have transformed through technology to buy us time, which previously is not possible to do so. One very good example, I just received this little cute 500 ml grape juice to spur our mood up and morale up. But this grape juice, if to squeeze 500 ml of grape juice out from grapes, I guess it will take a week. Do you agree? But now, this is all bottled up. So the time spent is actually equivalent to your money spent. You are actually using money to buy time for this bottle itself, rather than spending that 1 week squeezing this 500 ml grape juice. Agree? And traditionally, when people talk about time and about money, they spend money by traveling far. The most primitive way is to take a walk. But to buy time again, humans came out with inventions like automotives, locomotives, trains, and even aeroplanes now. Agree? Time is everywhere in your life, in our life, and money ties very closely to it. So how do we want to measure time? We are unable to measure it through physical touch because there are so much thing in time that is measurable through watches or through certain measures, but we cannot measure it in aspects of time and money. One very good example is how many of us have maids at home, domestic helpers. Some of us have domestic helpers. Why? Is it because your wives or your husband are very lazy in doing the housework? Actually, no. Look at a different perspective. Why I would say that is because you want to have more time for your kids, for your loved ones. So you actually employ a domestic helper to help you in the sense of taking care of the other second priorities in your life, which is your housework. Your need to cook and spending an hour or so on food. You can actually use this time which you use for cooking to be channeled to your loved ones. So this is time, this is money actually buying time. Have you ever thought about that? Okay, so in other words, you say that how we want to do time management. I do not have a domestic helper myself. So how do I do time management with my wife? There must be certain commitment. There must be certain measurables. There must be certain objective. I'm working today at this hour is because I have no choice. I'm being rostered because of the COVID-19 disease. But I've told my wife, actually today is my son's birthday. So I told her, hey, I can't make it today. I have to work and maybe sneak in to join a Toastmasters section. So I already planned ahead. I say, hey, I can't make it today. So why not we take the time yesterday? I took the time off yesterday. I went back earlier to celebrate my son's birthday. So in certain time management, we do not need to spend the amount of money to buy the time. In fact, we are actually using a future credit to buy time, which is through planning, through understanding and commitment. It's all about planning your time, your schedule, so that you can make use of the correct amount of money to buy the correct amount of time. But of course, the flip side of it is, if your strategy is wrong, you cannot use time or you cannot use money to buy vice versa. It's not very possible. So my advice to everybody for my topic today is time and money. Although they are very closely related, sometimes you make a wrong decision in life. That's it. You lose both. That's all for my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony, for the wonderful speech about time versus money. I'm so sorry that we actually taking up your son's birthday time.
No,
Sorry again.
I can't leave today also. So I already actually planned this and I thought of it. If I don't join this session today, I'll be stuck here also. And there are some
so sorry, bro.
evolving situation in the hospital now. So I really can't go until maybe 10.
Can. Okay, bro. Okay. Thanks again. Okay. Next up, our last speaker for today. Okay. Our last speaker today, let me call upon the evaluator himself to tell us what is the what is the speech objective of the project. It will be distinguished Toastmaster Shaifu. Yay! Hello everyone. Okay, so for me, I will be evaluating Hanifa, who will be doing her last project in the old syllabus advanced project 5 for her public communication or public relation manual. So Hanifa, for your for your last objective for today will be, how effective does the speaker communicate his or her speech? Is the speaker convincing in explaining the position of the situation? Has the speaker effectively create and maintain a positive company image? Does the speaker respond cleverly to the questions from the reporter? Last but not least, how can the speaker improve on the presentation? All right. So before anything, let me for this speech, right, for this project itself, it will be a 4 to 6 minutes speech by the speaker herself before moving on to her Q&A. The speaker, I will be evaluating for both for her. So I need the audience to be, to be the parents of the situation that is going to happen for today. So without further ado, let me call upon our next speaker, 2017-2018 SCCCIMTM President, Advanced Communicator Silver, Advanced Leader Silver, Speaker and Certified Trainer Hanifa, to come on the screen and tell us with the speech. Wait, just let me unmute her. Okay, Ken.
Hi, good evening, parents. Good evening, parents. I'm Madam Sohaila, School Principal of Havelock Primary School. Thank you for attending today's conference meeting. On 5th February 2020, after school, there was an accident involving a school bus and an automobile. There were no injuries to the passengers of the car. The children on the bus, SHBOB0702, witnessed the aftermath of the accident, but were not involved in it. As our school had ended for the day, the bus driver contacted our emergency hotline to report the situation. The accident occurred at 6:40 p.m. and we received the call at about 6:54 p.m. Upon receiving the phone call, the operator contacted our school's vice principal, Ms. Yvonne Lim. I was at a workshop at the time and could not take any calls. News about the accident was sent to me via SMS, and I immediately left the event to go to the location of the accident. Our vice principal was already there when I arrived. The police were taking statements from the driver and other witnesses. Fortunately, there were no fatalities. The students on the bus were earlier told to wait and sit on the pavement to receive medical assistance. However, by the time the paramedics confirmed that all our students did not sustain injuries during the accident and allowed the school bus to leave and clear the scene, it was already 7:40 p.m. We were still very concerned about the psychological impact the accident had on the students. So we decided to take them to a nearby community center at Havelock Road, where we were given a room. It was then that we could call you to collect your kids. The time was 8:10 p.m. Immediately after the accident, a few students contacted their parents personally using their mobile phones. I understand that you're all trying to speak to us and had wanted to rush over. But we could not take your calls as the driver was still assisting with the investigating officers about the accident. We do apologize for the long delay in communicating to you at the time. It was important for us to attend to the kids first. Our school guidance counselor was there to speak to each and every student, including the bus driver. The children were asked if they were injured in any way, and the parents were then contacted. Your child, because of being on bus number SHB0702, may show delayed reaction to the accident. Please be alert on the next several days to the symptoms of delayed reaction, including a desire to be alone, unusually quiet, loss of appetite, problems with sleeping, nightmares, difficulty with concentration, crying, angry outburst, short temper, headaches, or upset stomach. Your child may also exhibit some physical complaints. The school will be offered support services for students needing help dealing with the accident. We will also provide counseling services to the parents in helping their children to cope. Please do not hesitate to call if you have any questions and concerns. The number to call for this matter is 6840-881. It is provided in the letter that we gave to you when we invited you over. Alternatively, you may come to the admin office and we will direct you to either myself or the vice principal. Thank you. So now I'd like to hand over to you to ask some questions about the matter, if you have any.
Can I ask a question here? This is Hakim. I'm actually from the local newspaper.
Hi.
Yeah, Madam Suhaila, we would want to ask, was the bus driver having an assistant on the bus when the accident happened?
Yes, there was an assistant on the bus when the accident occurred.
In that case, why didn't the assistant contact the parents?
Well, because everyone was involved in this accident, she too had to be attended by the medical team.
Was there any evidence or any reports that the driver was operating the vehicle when he had been drinking?
No, the report says it confirmed that the driver was not drinking at the time of the accident.
Some parents were concerned and are asking who will be responsible for the medical fees incurred as a result of this accident.
Well, all our students are covered under our general health insurance and personal accident claims insurance, as long as accidents occur within the premises of the school and during classes. They can make claims under medical coverage. However, in this case, the accident occurred outside the school premises and after school hours. We have spoken to the bus company about this, and they have assured us that your kids or the kids will be able to receive full medical coverage under their insurance policy. This is because when we signed up with the transport company to ferry students, we have negotiated for the transport fee to include accident plans. You may make claims as long as they are directly related to this matter, to this accident. A doctor's medical report must be included when you make your claims. I shall refer you to the administration bulletin after the meeting. Please do so within 1 month or before 10th of April 2020. So if you are in doubt whether your child has sustained injuries during the accident, do send your child to see a medical doctor as soon as possible.
Just one last question for me. We noted that the accident happened at 6:40 p.m. and we received your call to collect our children only at 8:10 p.m. So could you please explain why there was this delay of more than 1 hour for you to communicate this matter to us parents?
Yes, I do apologize for the long delay, firstly, but we wanted to attend to the most important matters first, and that is to the people involved directly and indirectly in this accident. As soon as we knew a few kids had contacted their parents, we had assumed that their kids were all right and advised them to wait for our updates. We have assured them, these parents. The traffic was building up behind and around us, so it would be too difficult for these parents to get to us given the congestion at that time. So we decided to bring the kids to a nearby community center where traffic was smoother. So you may come, the parents could come and collect their kids. So at the end of the day, the kids were all being reported, no, they have not sustained any injuries. Again, I apologize for the delay in communicating the matter to all of you, but we will rest assured that we have taken care of the matter with the police and especially the paramedics, that your children are all fine.
Thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you, Mr. Hakim. Thank you, parents, for being here. And with that, I'd like you to hand over to the Vice Principal, who will now talk to you about the administration in this matter. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Let's give another round of applause for ma'am Hanifa. Woo! Okay. Wait, let me mute everyone. Okay, thank you very much. So I hope you all enjoyed that wonderful speeches from all our of all our speakers. Would like to take a 5-minute break to go a quick toilet break or get a drink. Yes, no? Just if you say yes, just like that. If you say no, or do you want to carry on straight? Then we can close it. Anyone? Yes, no? Okay, okay. Then we shall push forward and end the night with a bang. Wow. Okay, bye, Hakim. Thank you very much. Okay, next up is our evaluation. As I mentioned, we will only be doing 2 evaluation for today. The other 2 will be silent evaluation. The 2 evaluation will be our brother Panos, who will be evaluating Nandini, and also our brother Shaifu, who will be evaluating Hanifa. All right. So without further ado, before I call upon our brother Panos, who the evaluation will be 2 to 3 minutes. Our 2 minutes will be, I will type 2 minutes personally to Panos, and then carry on all the way 2.5, 3, sorry, yeah, 2, 2.5, then 3, 3.5, then I will let you know, please stop, bro. All right, without further ado, let me call upon brother Panos up on stage and for his evaluation on Nandini. Panos, please.
Hello, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and Anthony. Perhaps you haven't visited Disneyland yet, but you did succeed in taking us on a roller coaster ride with your speech tonight. Wow, so many elements, such a thorough and colorful story, and most importantly, a real story, straight from experience, and if I may say, a challenging experience as it proved itself to be. In the beginning, you talked about having a childhood dream, which I find personally connects me to you as a speaker, because we all have those memories from childhood for all the things we were hoping to experience. Then you brought us closer You know, in 2016, you got this invitation to go study at UPenn, and I thought, well, this is gonna be a happy story. She's gonna go to Disneyland after all. Then you intrigued us by telling us, let me tell you how my trip there was the total opposite of what I had expected. So those were moments that you succeeded in building anticipation and getting me to focus on what is coming next in your stories. Then you met the gentleman, well, gentleman for lack of a better word, practically a con man, and this changed the whole direction of your trip, it seemed, with ending up with about $500 going down the drain, as you said. Wow, you opened a few stories within the story, which is a storytelling technique that is very useful. For example, the whole story with the conman was like a, in two parentheses, if you imagine it that way, within the Disneyland story, and then you successfully connected back to the original story when you said, back to my plan to visit Disneyland, you see? So this is one of those narration techniques that I found you employed, I guess instinctively, but it's good that you signaled the ending of a story and the opening of the next one. My interest was high throughout, especially because you were backing it up from experience, and I felt the feelings that you had gone through when going through the actual deal and now narrating it to us. What I would challenge you to do is to do a bit more showing to complement your telling of a story. So there's a golden principle in Toastmasters that says, show, don't tell. Don't just tell. And the way to do more showing is to use your hands. Might be a challenge in the online world, but it's doable. Have more facial gestures. For example, when you said that I was devastated, you know, like devastated, you know, just show it. And then with the color of your voice, again, like devastated, you know. And then you can use a bit more vivid and descriptive language. So I would say that today you told me a story, you told us a story from experience that I connected to from my own experiences. So thank you for that. And at the same time, the next opportunity you get to share a personal story from your experience, keep in mind to bring it more to life by more showing how you feel and more vivid descriptions in your hands and your facial gestures together with your excellent use of words. Thank you for sharing tonight. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
All right, thank you very much, Brother Panos, for the wonderful speech. Evaluation on Nandini. I hope, Nandini, that helps you when you're doing this square box here. Yeah. Okay, without further ado, let us call our last evaluator up on stage or up on screen, who will be evaluating Advanced Communicator Silver and Advanced Leader Silver, Hanifa. Without further ado, Shaifu. Woo! I can't believe I am timing myself. Okay. A very good evening, everyone. I had a privilege to actually evaluate Ma'am Hanifa here. Okay, ma'am, today I will be evaluating you based on what you actually did well, very, very well, and what actually you can improve on. So before I actually jump into what you actually can do well is what you did very well or excellent itself. First and foremost is your clear and concise message for the parents itself. Secondly, will be your pace. When you're giving the message, it was an excellent pace where everyone actually can listen word by word what you're trying to say. Your gestures was also very excellent where you're actually moving like that, trying to emphasize a point itself. You also had a very excellent eye contact with the audience itself. However, what you actually can improve on is firstly, it is supposed to be a sad, a remorseful announcement. Your background itself doesn't reflect that, man. It's supposed to be some subtle, quiet, remorseful background. Yeah. Secondly is your posture, man. I see that your posture from your chair, right? You moving your hand, sorry, like that, like that. Yeah. So when you put your hands on something, right, I saw it's a bit of distraction. So maybe instead of, I believe that you're actually scrolling down to see your script. I believe so. But try not to do that, man. All right. Next up is touching mouse. At the end of the speech that you were giving, the screen or your face was actually turning dark. Can't really see much of the lighting. I'm not too sure why, but what normally or what I was taught by Aaron Leong is that try to adjust your lighting before you start this before you start your presentation, and see whether it tallies well when you're doing your presentation from the start, body, all the way to your end. Last but not least, ma'am, to be honest, you are actually a confident speaker. You can actually handle most of the public relation problem with that if it arises, because you are the most confident speaker I have ever evaluated in my life, man. Yeah, to be honest. All right, without further ado, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo! All right, but before we end, I forget to actually let you guys know or actually do a voting itself. But I believe I only have 11 participants, and I think most of them will not be around to be voting for the best speaker and also best evaluator, because speaker only we got 4. Then out of the 4 we only have 11. You minus you minus my com, really, yeah, so we got like around 9. So we will not be doing the we will not be doing the best speaker and best evaluator vote for tonight. Is that okay for you guys? Okay, all right. So before we close, I believe Ma'am Jenny, I think she left already. She already take photos for us. I'm not too sure whether you all receive. Yeah. So before I end the chapter meeting for tonight, is there any question that you guys want to say? No, wait, just let me unmute you all. Okay. Yeah. So anything you guys want to say or feedback?
I want to say thank you so much for holding me and thankful for your volunteerism. Okay, your volunteerism you've done. And I do wish all of you a very good evening, and hopefully to see you all next time again online. I've seen some segments or some schedule already done for. Hopefully it will still continue, and wish you all the best of health.
All right. Any feedback from the rest of our guests? I know we are. Yes, Panos.
I would like to say that, first of all, we have some feedback. So those of you that are in with 2 devices, make sure one of them is always on mute. And that is a short feedback for every meeting host. When you're unmuting everyone, you're also unmuting the second device that some Toastmasters might be joining with. Well, I want to add that this meeting was short and crisp, and most importantly, it was diverse, especially to the choice of the speeches, because we had storytelling, we had, in a way, speaking to inform, and then we had what I would describe as a crisis management speech. And that only goes to show how interesting a meeting can get and how much we can learn from each other during a meeting. So I have benefited greatly from this meeting, and also from the opportunity to evaluate Nantini, which is unique to online clubs, to join as a guest and have the opportunity to evaluate a fellow Toastmasters who you have just met seconds ago. So I think this is part of the beauty of the online world, and it will be such a pleasure to connect with all of you again. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
All right, thank you very much. Any other feedback? You guys can raise your hands.
Shaiful, can
No?
we take a picture? I think can we
All
have
right.
a group picture for
Okay, sure.
Natalie, I can't see you. You're quite dark. Ah, okay, great. Okay, shall we all get ready? Okay, I'll do a shot. Just hang on. 1, 2, 3, live. Okay, you can do a thumbs up. Okay, I'll send to everybody.
All right, thank you. Okay, bye, ladies and gentlemen.
Just wait. I have to send to everyone first so that you can download the file. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So as I mentioned, here is the end of the chapter meeting for Yishun Health Campus Toastmasters Club. Hopefully, I may see you guys again in April. Hopefully. All right. Don't forget to download the pictures. Then bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.